All right. Hello, everyone. We are hitting up a part 2 on Confident Laravel to try to get things a little more cached, particularly around the geocoding. And in fact, as we can see here, the caching, while it is a little jumpy when there's low traffic, again, this is a pretty low traffic site, so statistically speaking, you're not getting enough traffic here to really demonstrate a hit rate, especially if these 3 visitors were someone logging in to the user section and watching the video course. But when you're just hitting the homepage, I mean, you're in the 90s, 70, 80, 90. So it's definitely working. I'm really just caching this next part for 2 reasons. One, it's kind of a demonstration of even more services that Cloudflare offers. And then 2, there's kind of no reason for, I've done this purchasing power change on Laravel Shift. It's going to be on Fast Laravel. I've done this on other sites. So it's just nice for me to remove that geocoding service because Cloudflare's, kind of giving me this for free. Not that I'm paying for that service anymore. I did when I first launched the course because it was getting more traffic. But now, again, that it's an older course, I'm just kind of backfilling some changes to make general management of the project easier, right? So I think that's really what we're after here. So caching's looking good. I think we can clean it up just a little bit more because, again, some of this traffic, anytime you're hitting the home page, you're hitting that API page. So 50% cached is kind of what's happening even if you're hitting the home page, right? So because one request is going to be for the homepage, which will be cached with Cloudflare, but then it's going to send off an API request. And while that's very lightweight and percent cached is based on bandwidth, you're going to see a higher number, but the point is I'm still having one-in-one request. So I'd really just like it to be, 0, right? That's kind of the goal. So let's get into, let's see here. First of all, I've got a bunch of crazy screens open, so let's go here. I have no idea what's popping up. So let me go full screen me for a minute, and let's close out some of this other stuff. I got Telegram open, I don't even know, something's trying to update. It looks like my trading platform's trying to update in the background. That's fun. Let's get rid of these notes. We clearly don't want that. Okay, all we want is terminal and eCam and PHP Storm. There we go. Okay. Terminal, eCam, PHP Storm. All right. That's better. There we go. Okay. PHP Storm is launching. Hopefully we can see me again in the corner here, picture in picture. Okay. So last time we basically updated some of this code, some of this middleware. I updated the settings to have kind of this purchasing power array that we talked about. I think I just asked ChatGPT to bring it across. Yeah, so here's all the, here's all the mappings, right? So this is what Cloudflare gives us, the 2-digit country code as part of the header, and then we map that to a name. And then this will ultimately get displayed in the partial. So that's kind of the next part. Why are you, I think I just upgraded, or I need to upgrade. I don't know. Whew, we're getting off to a start here. Okay, what I want to do is we want to find where, I think everything's under this index orders. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, okay. So the index orders is technically whatever. I think what we found was that an app, I want to start ripping out, yeah, here we go, this PPP banner. So if you have PPP, then we want to do some stuff. So see, I've got all this placeholder for the form request and all this stuff. Let's start cleaning this up under the assumption that, again, this is going to come across as a request parameter and therefore be cached based on your country. So when this comes in, you're not necessarily, are we still going to do a post? Are we still doing a post here? See, this is submitting with Axios, and I think this gets re-rendered. Again, this is a pretty old site. This was probably built originally with Laravel 5.7, 5.8. So let's start ripping things out that we don't think we need, and then make sure that this URL and this country is coming in from the controller correctly, right? So like everything else here, percent off. I don't even think this percent off, we're just giving 50% off from now on if you're purchasing power. So that, I think we decided that last week. So we do need country. That can come in through the translation, so that can get passed in. And then this URL is, I don't even know if we need a form. I think the URL should just be the signed URL based on the country code. I think that's what we were doing. So I don't think we're going to need the form. I'm definitely going to kill the CSRF token because, again, that's not going to be cacheable because CSRF token is based on session. I think a signed URL is enough here because all this stuff's coming across from Cloudflare. You're not really able to overwrite it. And by opting in, we're kind of doing a double handshake kind of check here to make sure that, like, you know, it's good enough. I'm not saying this is the most secure thing in the world, but as a signed URL and the fact that we trust the we trust the header from Cloudflare, like, that's good enough for this. Like, what's really happening? You're getting 50% off if, like, you figured out how to hack all that? Okay, cool, have fun. You're still giving me money. So I'm okay with it. Well, I don't want it to happen, you know, all the time. I'm okay with it. So let's get into footer, because I guess stack JavaScript. I guess somewhere in here, that Axios stuff might have been automatically wired. I think that's automatically wired that'll do that. But let's see where I'm using this JavaScript stack. I'm just wondering if I'm pushing anything on the stack somewhere else. So orders.index, okay, here we go. Orders.index pushes Stripe. And then if you have the coupon, yeah, we do, here's this bit. Okay, so unless you have a coupon, we call API purchasing power. So yeah, and here we replace it. There you go. That's where we replace it. And I think this is all just, it's not even Axios. This is just all vanilla XHR. So let's go out to the real site so we can kind of see this in action. ConfidentLaravel.com. So let's inspect. Let's inspect, and then, whoops, let's inspect. If we go here and we do a refresh, we should, under XHR, here we go, purchasing power. So right now, no matter what, again, I'm sending an API purchasing power, and the response, I guess the response is nothing. What do we get? We just get a 200. Oh yeah, we rewrote that. We rewrote that. So right now it's just like 200. I think if you were in an IP, you would get what, according to the code? So if it's not 200 or it's not text, then return. Otherwise it is 200. We replace the CSRF token. So if the status is not 200 or the response text, or there's no response text. So if we just respond with no, then we're not doing anything. Otherwise, we are updating the inner HTML to replace the token so the flash message is submittable. How does it display though? So we pull this from the metadata. What actually triggers the display of it though? Because I'm assuming it's absolutely positioned. Oh wait, no, that's not the right thing. PPP banner. What actually pops this? Let's take that off. Something pops this. Oh, is it? Kind of doesn't, honestly, it kind of doesn't matter how it used to work. I'm just making sure I'm tackling this correctly. Document get element by ID flash inner HTML equals, oh, equals the response. Sorry. Okay, so I think last week, that's why I'm confused. I think last week we moved this aside here. That's what we did. This used to be returned in the API response. So that's the check, right? If it's not a 200 or you didn't get something in the response, meaning the partial, then just return, do nothing. Otherwise, set the flash message, which was up here. We've removed it and now just put this entirely on the page. So we are basing this off requests now. I think what we've demonstrated here is that basically this button really is just a link now. Now it's just a link of ahref. Okay, yeah, ahref, the URL, right? We'll put this over here, kaboom. All right, and then class underline, all that should be fine. 50% discount, cool. Okay, and then we don't need the form anymore. We don't need that. Whoops. All right, so let's go check the controller. Oh, well, sorry. Let's get rid of this because we don't need to do this anymore. Let's get rid of all that. We're not doing any of that anymore. And this is old school Stripe checkout. Probably ought to refactor that too someday. Okay, so this is app. It's really index. So this is order controller. And order controller index currently does not do any of that stuff. Again, this was coming from a partial, so none of those things are going to be in here now. So we need to go look at that middleware. Purchasing power, check purchasing power. Okay, here, this part. See, we used to return a partial. We're no longer even, this endpoint's not even going to exist anymore. So, and we're not even going to do percent off anymore. So we just have country and we just have this temporary signed URL. That takes the coupon code. It doesn't even need the coupon code anymore, to be honest. The code should really just be the country code. That country code that you're saying that you're at needs to match what Cloudflare says you're at. That's kind of the handshake. And it's a temporary signed URL, so it kind of limits its reuse. It's just a couple minutes. So this middleware is no longer needed. We're not even going to make this API call. We just need to take this logic and put it. We just need to take the logic and put it in the controller. That's all we need to do. Coupon find country by code. We don't even need to do that anymore. We don't even need to do that anymore. Because all this, here's what's going to happen. All of this middleware code's actually going to go and be a rule at Cloudflare. That's actually what's happening. I think that's what I did on the other sites. Okay, let's take this. Let's take this because this is what we're going to need. And we actually don't need this check purchasing power anymore. I'm going to delete this. All right, we don't need that anymore. Part of it might become the invocable controller or something, but for now, we don't need it anymore. So in order controller, basically what we're going to say now, let's bring out request. So we can say if request query, or is there has is like any, is there has query? I always forget. I think you just screw it. We'll just say query. And this is PPP, right? Yes. If it has PPP, then we basically would want to merge, this stuff into here. We don't even really need to merge it per se. We would just set it. We would just set this no matter what. Let's just say country equals country or null, and same with this. URL is, it's a little bit ugly, but let's just get it done. Okay, and then now, let's get rid of that, and let's just set these to country Whoops. Let's set it to this. Nope. Ah. Stupid text length. There we go. All right. I think now code is really this. I typically don't like this, but again, we're just going to do this for a second. Okay, so code is that. If it's not null, then it's gonna get passed along. Okay, so this should pass it into the view data, and it's just kind of right now a short-termy hack that if PPP is there. So we're no longer passing things to the API. We're not even going to call the API anymore. It's dead. It's gone. Speaking of which, let's go into our API routes and clean this up as well. We no longer have API routes, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and delete it. So look at all the code we're getting rid of. Wonderful. Let's go into app.php in the bootstrap, and we don't even need that anymore. And I'm actually also going to get rid of health check because I'm not doing that either. Okay, so what have we done here? Let's catch up. What have we done? We've done a lot of stuff. Vendor bin pint. Nope, no pint. Okay, global pint. Just make sure I've cleaned up my code real quick. All right, cool. So let's do get add-p. Okay, so we've added request. And now we're going to say if the request query PPP is set, then set these variables, which will later get potentially passed to the view. Okay, fine. We got rid of stuff we don't need anymore, API routes. I don't care about the health check, just a little cleanup there in our settings file. Now we have country, so we're passing country down, and we're passing URL down. Cool, so that should be fine. We're no longer sending an Axia or an XHR, sorry. So we're no longer sending an XHR to that. What else is left? Nothing. So we could run this. We should be able to run this in development and see it working by just hacking the URL for now. Because all of it now is no longer, currently it's no longer based on the Cloudflare header. Yeah. All right. Let's just go old school serve here. Again, it's an old project. I don't think it has composer run dev. Okay, so, yes, I know, stripe checkout's not going to work locally. Okay, so if we say PPP equals, and then we go find, what was there? Like, there was something. There we go, Zimbabwe. Is that even a country anymore? I feel like that got renamed. Apologies if that got renamed. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Cool. Okay, so, yes, I know. I see you're visiting from Zimbabwe, where Confident Laravel might be more expensive. Here's this. Here's purchasing power. Here's this. 50% discount. This gets broken. Okay, cool. Because it's not, yeah, it's a GET request, not a POST request anymore. So let's fix that. So let's make this part work, and then we'll finish by taking that logic that was in the middleware and just making it a Cloudflare rule, right? Because right now we're kind of just hacking this part, and that was kind of the point a minute ago. I was saying like, oh, you could hack it, right? Well, that's kind of where the signed URL and then Cloudflare is going to come back into play. Like even if you did this, you know, you watched this stream and did this, and you did it for yeah, you're going to see the banner, but like once you click this link, that's going to compare it against Cloudflare to make sure that what was in the signed code matches the code that came down from Cloudflare. So like you have to be in that country, or you have to be VPN in that country or whatever. Again, there's ways to get around this, but like it's good enough. It's good enough. All right, let's fix this URL so we actually get to the purchasing power where the web token or the web URL, signed URL is gonna work for us. So purchasing power code, it's no longer post, it's gonna be get, and we already have this controller, cool. Okay, so now the code that comes in is, it is signed, good. The code that comes in is not the coupon code anymore. This is where we're gonna need, this is where we go back and take some of that middleware code, which I just deleted. So let's see if we can revive that. Git diff dash staged. Let's get this deleted. Let's check this code out a little bit. Oh wait, I got you. There we go. Okay, so yes. This is what we need. All right, let's bring this back to life without all the dashes. No, not the dash. Whatever, we'll fix it. Okay, so what do we have here? Code should not be request header anymore. Code can't be empty. You'd get a PHP error, I think, if code were empty. But we'll just leave it. So we'll say if code is empty. What did we say 422 was last time? I'm okay with these responses being ugly because, again, if there's any error at this point where things are mismatching, like, you're probably doing something a little fishy, right? So I think let's say if that's empty, then it's a 422 because that was like a service unavailable thing. And then before even that, we could just go so far as to say if empty, it shouldn't be empty because the signing of the URL wouldn't work. But we'll just put this here for now. I can write some tests for it later. We'll say if empty code, then we'll just abort what's invalid. I think it's bad data. That would be 400, I think. Okay, and then we would need to make sure that the code you passed in matches this. Yeah. And so this would be code. So if what is in the signed URL that you claimed, the country that you claim to be coming from, is not equal to the Cloudflare geolocation header, then again, you're doing something a little fishy. And then finally, if you somehow put in a code that's not a coupon, then same thing, you would just abort 400. And some people might like put all these in one, I've talked about this plenty of times, but some people might put all these in like a big if statement or abstract it off. I'm cool reading like such simple code like this. I think this looks good. Like you get a bunch of guard clauses and then you get down to where you need to go. Okay, cool. So now here's where it gets interesting kind of yet again. I'm putting something in the session, which is good. I'm putting a coupon in the session for you, which is good. We could just redirect them. We don't have to abort. We could just always redirect them. Anyway, I'm putting this in the session. Here's the part that's a little bit tricky. This is going to redirect you back to the home page. The home page is potentially cached. So the buy now is not going, the price in the buy now is not going to reflect this coupon. So it's kind of I'm trying to think of what I did with that on Shift. I think on Shift I just use, honestly, I think I just used some JavaScript. I think I just used some JavaScript on that page to apply the discount. I don't know what I want that to look like on here. I think I'm gonna punt that today. But basically, the way we could get around that is you could just bust the cache yet again with another, you could say coupon, applied, right? Like, I mean, you could just put something like this on it that's generic, which demonstrated that it came across. I'll have to see exactly what I did for that on the Shift page. I know I use a bit of JavaScript to just swap the price, because again, you know that it's going to be 50% off. Or you can just have a coupon applied and then it says, but I think it's nice. I think it's nice to show the discounted price, right? Like, that's the whole point. Like, you apply this and then it kicks you down here and you see the prices maybe crossed out. Where are all of my Oh, there. I'm in local, not production. I was like, where are my images? Hold on, I'm hearing some stuff in the chat. Let's see what's going on here. Hey there, how's it going? I prefer abort if or abort unless. Yes, yes, good call. Yeah. I think there's a refactor for that. Yeah, you could just make like 5 abort if lines. Absolutely. Those are good ones too. So yeah, while we're on the topic, I also like the new route 2. I like that a lot better. I'm probably running an older version, but, or 2, no, I'm sorry, it's 2 route. Yeah, there it is, 2 route, not route 2. So return to route, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, again, this will work. I think the current behavior, if we go look, let's go look at the template and see what happens here. Do we have like, does the pricing like cross out or show the coupon? Yeah, it has coupon, here you go. So again, this, I think what I did on Shift is like, there was just a little Alpine or something here that like, there was a little Alpine thing that got set with JavaScript on the page load to know like, oh, we know you have a coupon because of this query parameter. Or because you had a cookie, like you have a cookie. I think, oh, that's what it was. It was a cookie. I put it in the session. Yeah. I put it in the session, but I also put it in an open cookie. Right? That's what I did. Yes. So put PPP in cookie. Right? That's kind of the to-do part. We can mess with that next time. Let's finish. I think this works. So let's go see that it works. So the point is now the signed URL should work. It's not going to match the Cloudflare header, but let's see that we get the abort 400. Let's just, to that point, let's just do like a 401 here just to differentiate, right? All right, getting some spam there. Let's ban that. All right, let's go here and we'll run PHP artisan serve again. So I think what we want to see here is we want to see that the redirection works. So we can now say that, yes, I know, Stripe, chill. So 403 invalid signature. Why do we have an invalid signature? Why would we have an invalid signature? Why do we have an invalid signature? Where are we building this up? We're building this up in order controller, URL temporary signed URL. It goes to purchasing power. Purchasing power is get. You don't have to be post, right? You can be get. And code. Code just gets applied to the end. And code is our code. Yes. Okay. How is that not right? So what is this one? This is ZW expires signature. Now what's wrong? Failed dependency. Oh, that's better. Did I just click like an old one or something? What happened there? I don't know what happened there. Let's try this again. Okay. Failed dependency. Yes. Failed dependency because that's empty, right? We don't have that. So, okay, that's better. I must have clicked a stale link or something a minute ago. Okay, so we're not gonna have this stuff. So let's just comment that out for now because we're not gonna have that header. So now if we refresh, now I don't think I've seeded. So now we need to seed that. Let's figure out, do I have a coupon? Do I just have like an old school coupon in here somewhere? I thought I did. Yeah, the settings here. Let's just hack this for a second. Just want to see that it redirects So let's do PHP artisan tinker. We'll do coupon all. There aren't any. Okay. Coupon factory make create. Oh, I hate you. I hate you. SciShell. I thought this was, oh, it's fixed in 12.15, or sorry, I should say it's reverted in 12.15. They killed the auto expansion for a couple versions. They killed the auto expansion of stuff, so it's like, ugh, now you don't get. Oh my god, just show me the ID. Thank you. Okay. Now if we, yeah, they killed the auto expansion of stuff in like 12.12 or something. And the guy, like, the author, like, people were saying stuff and he like sat on it for a month and it was just like, well, we could be controversial. And it's like, this is, you have like one of the largest web frameworks as a downstream dependency. Like, let's maybe why don't we, you know, revert that until we figure out a better approach. I don't know. Hey, it's not my package, fine, whatever, but it's a little bit annoying. Okay, so what is the country code in settings now? Oh, I don't have that set either. Okay, let's hard code it to 1. Let's just, I'm getting on all over tangents here. Let's hard code this. Let's just say coupon find. Find a. Let's find a 1, shall we? Okay, let's go back here. Refresh. Okay, what is it not like now? Internal server. Route. Oh, well, it's not to route. It's not to route, buddy. It's to. Oh, sorry. I was doing a refactor there, and that's incorrect. Sorry. Redirect to. There we go. There we go. Refresh. Hey, all right, cool. Okay, so let's do this one more time because I was kind of all over the place there. Let's do. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got this discount. Kaboom. We hit it. Invalid signature. I don't know why it's doing that the first time. Let's try it again. There we go. We get redirected, and my assumption is that we have a coupon in there. Now, I don't know what kind of discount that coupon has. Coupon price and cents. Product full price. Yeah, I mean, this would depend, you know, we could do something else here, like discount. Is this showing up? So it doesn't seem like the has coupon. Where does this come from? Has coupon. Session has coupon. Yes, yes, yes. If not, is null. Oh, maybe we're not getting in here. Oh, I read it. I redirect that. Okay, we don't need to do that. Okay. So otherwise, okay, good. There we go. Otherwise, sorry. Otherwise, put this in session. There we go. I had a bunch of guard clauses and we lost the rest of the code. Okay, that's why we mess around here. All right, let's do this one more time. All right, and we're getting redirected. It's still not saying discount there though. I would have assumed. Why would you not be saying discount? If coupon find 1, if is null coupon, we should be finding 1 and we should be putting that in here. We still need to do, okay, well, we're not aborting, so let's dump coupon. So let's dd coupon. So let's ppp that again, kaboom. Okay. So where are we? Connection, attributes, 20% off. Okay, good, good, good. And then if we have coupon, we should be saying discount now instead of buy now. So let's refresh. I don't know why it's not saying discount now. We could at dd or session all. So nothing's in the session. Why would nothing be in the session? Oh, you know what I think this is? Sometimes my guess is dev. I bet you, let's look. We'll look at the cookies here. I bet you the session bit here is not. I bet you these cookies and the cookie path and all that stuff are not, they're not aligned. Sometimes I use like test domains. I bet you it's just misconfigured. Like the session cookie domain and then the actual browser thing's not. So it's putting it in a session, but that session's not readable on the next request. That's probably what's going on here. I don't see anything else that's obvious. We're in a place where we've commented out like a lot of code and made it kind of work. So let's uncomment code and kind of get back. Let's get back to where we need to be. Okay, we'll stop here. Here's what needs to happen. We need to, let's just make myself some notes here, and I'll do this before the next stream so we can cook a little bit with fire next time. We were kind of like getting the fire started a bit today. So let's recap here. To do, we need to seed a new PPP coupon code. All right, that's 50% off. Okay, right. And then we need to put in cookie, and then we also need to update view to show discount based on cookie. So that's pretty straightforward, because basically if there's no other active coupons for this, which I don't think there are, I just need a little Alpine to be like, not even Alpine, it could just be vanilla JS, but to basically say like which one to toggle here, right? So the default, of course, would just be the full by now, but once the page loaded, if it saw that you had that cookie, it would just swap them. It would just swap this with that, basically, and it would know the price and cents and all the stuff to change it for. So there's really no reason to get too crafty there. Okay, yeah, let's get that cleaned up. I'll get rid of this. Let's refresh the page. Okay, cool. It's still working here. My guess is the local dev is just a little wonky with like the session and which domain it's on and all that kind of stuff. So let's see what we did here finally. Okay, so we updated the controller, the single action controller that gets hit, and we changed this to get, yes, instead of post, because it's no longer using the form. And I think that's pretty much everything. So we were able to get rid of all of the API stuff. We're able to kind of unregister that. And then now that middleware is gone. So that's the other thing we need to do. That's the last thing we need to do, is we need to create Cloudflare transformation rule to set the PPP query parameter, right? Because right now, we're just doing that in the browser ourselves, but we can set up a Cloudflare transformation rule that if you're visiting the site, if the request is coming from one of the purchasing power countries for the homepage, if a request for the homepage is coming from one of the purchasing power countries, we could automatically append the query string PPP parameter. That's going to bust the cache, force the controller to load with the correct banner, and then you can click that to another endpoint that redirects you back to the homepage, where you kind of get like fully authenticated. So, or not authenticated, but the country code that you're coming from will get verified. So, a little bit more involved than I thought today, but in fairness, I didn't have any of this like stuff pre-written. So, you know, we hacked around for 40 minutes, but we got there in the end. So next week, we will build those transformation rules in the background. I'll make sure that I'm not going to write a bunch of JavaScript and stuff, I think, on a live stream. So I'll copy some of that over because I'm pretty sure that's what I do. I just see if a cookie's available for the Laravel Shift homepage and then swap the price out. So I'll get all this stuff seeded and all those things, and then next week we'll see it in action, we'll push it live, we'll make the transformation rule, and if you're in one of these countries, you can help me see if it works. All right, everybody. See you next week.